Yeah, man, we got them scars up here. But it's your boy AMIZ. I'm with my boy Mikey T, the movie star, on Report Card Radio, man. Tune in, man.
AMIZ, welcome to Report Card Radio.
Man, I appreciate it, man. I thank you for bringing me onto your show, man. It's a great honor, man.
Well, I'm all in with AMIZ today, man. You have a very interesting story, man. You got an interesting history. Take me back to where you actually grew up and your childhood.
Well, I'm from York, Pennsylvania. It's like an hour and a half from Philly. Pretty much like I ran the streets, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like my whole life, you know what I mean? We're like 45 minutes from Baltimore, so we got a lot of different type of traffic coming down from this way. You know what I mean? DC, all that. But my whole life, man, I just been just ignorant, man, and it led me to prison. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much where my real story starts from, you know what I mean, when I went to prison.
So, AMIZ, I wanted to ask, your history has been painted with a lot of controversy. What was your first bad experience with the police?
My first bad experience with the police? Or as far as crime, or you mean just in general getting locked up?
Yeah.
Or something like that?
Yeah,
well,
take me into it, man.
I did 3.5 as a juvenile. I did 3.5 years as juvenile. I was in and out of placement, robberies, home invasions, man, all types of stuff, man. I was just involved with a little bit of everything, man. Like selling, I wasn't no kingpin or nothing like that, but you know, I was getting my bread. But yeah, man, like it started, you know what I mean? Like I was just a nut young boy, man. A nut ass young boy, better words, you know what I mean?
How many years in total have you given to the system?
Man, I gave him about 13 and a half. I did about 10 years upstate for armed robbery and stabbing somebody, or stabbing 2 people.
So before we get into your major charge, do you want to take me into the armed robbery charge? How long did you say that puts you in jail for?
Well, the armed robbery is crazy. I ain't really even committed. I ain't even commit the armed robbery. My homie did it, but he used my guns. Somebody else told on, the driver told on my co-defendant that actually did the crime and put me at the crime. So in Pennsylvania, the way they do it in Pennsylvania, conspiracy holds the same charge. So that's what initially, you know, got me my 5 to 10. I was ignorant to the law. If I would have knew better, because I was looking at 50 to 100 years. So I didn't know no better. I was just seeing those numbers. And, you know what I mean, as a young person, you know, I was like, I had just got out of placement for doing like, with my 3.5, and I was like 18 years old, and I wasn't even home for a year, and I was running around. I mean, I was working, but I was like still running around trying to catch up, man. Like, and it led me back to prison. Well, I didn't rob, like I said, my co-defendant robbed somebody, and put me there at crime, and yeah, I did the time.
So, AMIZ, how did they end up coming and picking you up for that situation? Did they come to your crib? Did they find you on the street?
Well, they found all of us together in a car. We was driving. It was like probably like an hour after the incident. We had put everything up or whatever, and we got pulled over going to the store. It was like right down the street. Like we thought we was in the clear. Like we was good, whole other side of town, and we was like going to the store real quick and got pulled over. And when they got us, the driver, he told on my other homie and put me there at the crime, and the cops wanted me to tell on my co-defendant, and I didn't. So I did the same time he did.
So just to break that situation down a little bit, did you ever catch a bail for that and end up fighting it on the outside, or did you fight it from inside?
Nah, I sat in. Yeah, I sat in for it.
You sat in for it?
I sat in.
You know? And how many years did you ultimately serve? You said you got a 5 to 10 out of that?
Yeah, I served 5. I did 5 years.
Yeah.
And then I came home, and because that happened in 2005. That happened in 2005. So I came home like the end of 2010, going into 2011. So like December. I came home in like December of 2010. So pretty much 2011, I came home in a sense.
So in our conversation, you had mentioned your serious case. It was a stabbing that resulted in facing a sentence of 40 to 80 years. Could you break that down for me?
Yeah, so I mean, with that, that situation, you know what I mean, it was some, I don't want to throw the gang members out, but who they were, but it was some individuals that didn't like the fact of my color and me dating a Spanish woman, you know what I mean? So it was jealousy, you know what I mean? Got out of jail, felt some type of way, and he came at me, didn't know what type of shit I was involved with. Which, like I said, I was working at this time when I got out. I was trying to do the right thing, man. It was all over a female, man. That's how it mostly happens all the time, too, man. Like, usually it happens either over a female or some bullshit, money or some bullshit. You know what I mean? In this case, it happened over a female. She wanted to be with me. I wasn't coming after him or nothing like that. I was trying to avoid the whole situation. He just kept harassing me, kept coming at me. And I got the shits of it. So I told him, you know, if you show up, then it is what it is. You come, you bring this shit, I'm going to give you what you're asking for. And he came to my house with his son. That was some bitch shit. But he came to my house with his son. And he had his other homie in the car. So my girl, at the time, now she's my wife, because she in the other room, she's my wife. But she was my girl at the time. And her son was in the car. So she was at my house. She was at my house, staying at my house. And he had the son. And he pulls up to my house with his son in the car and another, you know, homie of his or whatever, and was threatening me outside of the fucking, like, outside my house. So if I would have did anything, you know, towards him, he had like a shield. Like, he did some bitch shit. He had like a shield. So it was like, yo, my son in the car, but it's like, yo, you bringing drama into my fucking house. It didn't make no fucking sense. It was some bitch shit. So, make a long story short, I let that go. And then the next day he showed up at my mom's house and I stabbed him 11 times. And I stabbed his man twice for coming. So they both got it.
Wow, that's a pretty serious situation right there. So after you commit this act, stab the guy 11 times, stab his homeboy 2 times, how long before you're taken into custody? Or do you reach out to a lawyer and turn yourself in? How did that work?
Well, initially, like, it happened, like I said, it happened in front of my mom's crib. So like my mom, I was visiting my mom, and like it was a whole bunch of people out there. You know what I mean? Like, we in the hood, you know what I mean? So when the incident happened, the cops didn't come. I let them get up, I let them leave and all that. You know what I mean? Like, it was a blood trail going the whole way down the block. I let him leave and all that. He went to the hospital, he almost died, all that good shit. But he didn't, and he told. You know what I mean? So, you know, like, it wasn't that far after that because they thought it was a gang hit and all this bullshit because of how it happened and, you know what I mean, like this, you know, like all the stab wounds and shit. But he lied, man, and got me jammed up. Parole came and rearrested me. And, yeah, that's how I went back upstate. I got rearrested because I was on parole. And they sent me back upstate, and then they charged me when I was upstate and gave me my arraignment and all that other good shit when I was in Camp Hill.
So let me ask you, man, how was it looking a judge in the face and you're looking at 40 to 80 years in jail?
Man, it was just like a repeat, man. I was looking at 50 to 100 years for my first case. So, and like I said, Pennsylvania crazy, man. But I was like, I just did 5 years. I got 5 years to walk off, you know what I mean, regardless of whenever I get home, you know what I mean, on top of whatever time I got. So it's like, man, I'm trying to see numbers, you know what I mean, like lower numbers so I can get the fuck home. And y'all, bro, man, like my celly, who we're going to be talking about, he helped me get there. You know what I mean? Like, he helped me, you know, understand more about the law. You know, because I was ignorant. I thought I knew something, and I didn't. And he made me comprehend what I was reading. And so I wasn't, like, you know, being a parrot. I was actually comprehending what I was taking in, and I was able to communicate myself to the judge.
How much time did you eventually end up getting for the stabbing, and how was your time upstate during the incarceration?
So I mean, with the first question, I actually made out, right, and I made out with a title, and I found this title. You know what I mean? I found it. I ain't gonna say I found it on my own because Yarbrough gave me the book so I could find it out of Title 18. But it was title 505B2I. It's imperfect self-defense. So a lot of people don't know about it. Yarbrough didn't even know about it. My lawyer knew about it, but he didn't think about it until I said something. But that's what saved me because it turned what they was trying to give me to a lower charge because I wasn't malicious. I wasn't out there looking for him. He came looking for me, and that made a difference. But the problem what I did was I came off the porch. And being that I came off the porch, I engaged into the fight. And once I engaged into the fight, I became a problem. And there's a difference between quoting law and knowing law. You see what I'm saying? And that right there played the big factor in my case. And it does in everybody's case because at the end of the day, the lawyer wasn't there. You was there. If you did it or if you didn't do it, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So nobody knows your case better than you. Now, the lawyer is your mouthpiece. You see what I'm saying? And this is like kind of like how it was broken down to me. You see what I'm saying? And like once I understood it, everything just came together with the laws and the Constitution and the Pennsylvania practices and the titles and stuff like that. All that shit comes together. And you know what I mean? But you got to know how to piece it together to use it as a whole. You see what I'm saying? And that's what your lawyer does. But in this case, I learned how to do it so I could tell my lawyer what to say. You see what I'm saying? So you still need a mouthpiece, no matter what. You still need a mouthpiece.
So just to throw it out there, how much time did you eventually end up serving?
Well, I ended up getting a 1 to 2 for that. You know what I mean? People thought it was like, yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, I got a 1 to 2 for that. I got a simple assault. So they charged me with the fight and not the stabbing because it was a 2-on-1. So when I came off the porch, I engaged into the fight. So that's how I got the simple assault. But then once shit went sideways and it looked like I was about to get jumped. You know what I mean? I stabbed both of them.
Yeah, I think rightfully so. I think you rightfully so got that sentence reduced for sure, man.
Right. So that's how that came out. But then I ended up so I got that 1 to 2, but then being on parole, because remember I said I was a reoffender. This is how Pennsylvania be, you know what I mean? People don't be understanding, like, even how the parole system goes because they fuck you over, too. So, like, I was a reoffender, so I had a 5 to 10. I went back upstate. They took my year, almost a year I had, like 8 months or something like that. They took all that time, so I had to start fresh on that 5 to 10. But then I had to get parole on that number to start my new number and then get paroled on that number to go home. That's how I ended up doing more than 1 to 2. I maxed it. I maxed my 1 to 2 out, and then I had to get a hit for my motherfucking my first job for being a reoffender. I got like an 18-month, 15-month hit or some crazy shit, and had to go up to see parole, and that's a process. You know what I mean? It takes like a 3-month process to even get in front of them, and then getting back your date and all that. That's all I said. Like, the shit's crazy, man. The system's fucked up.
So you ended it with another. What'd you get? About 4.5 out of that? Out of that 1 to 2?
Yeah, 4.5, almost 5.
So you got about 4.5, which followed your previous 5-year stint, and then dating back to nearly a childhood, 3.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man.
Yep. That's a lot. I don't know. It's crazy, right?
Like I said, it was a painted, controversial history in the jails.
Right. Yeah, my whole life, man.